In a grand yet cold house on the outskirts of the bustling town of Pawsville, there lived a young kitten named Whiskerella. She was the softest shade of silver, her fur gleamed like moonlight, and her eyes shone with the depth of 1,000 stars. But despite her beauty, she lived a life of sorrow. Her father, Sir Clawthorne, had once been kind and loving, but after the passing of Whiskerella's mother, he had changed. Soon, he married a new wife, a cunning and cruel cat named Lady Velvet. She was elegant, with a coat of midnight black and emerald green eyes. Always draped in the finest silk scarves and jeweled collars, she paraded through the town, demanding admiration. But beneath her charm lay a heart as cold as ice. Lady Velvet brought with her 2 daughters, Purrl and Clawdia. Unlike their mother, they were awkward and scruffy, their fur always tangled despite their best efforts to look fashionable. They adored dressing in bright, mismatched accessories, believing themselves to be the trendsetters of Pawsville. They scoffed at Whiskerella's natural beauty and made it their mission to torment her. Every day, Lady Velvet assigned Whiskerella the hardest chores. "Scrub the floors until they shine like my pearls," she would sneer. "Wash our clothes, and don't you dare wrinkle my satin cloak." Purrl and Clawdia would chime in, laughing cruelly. Sir Clawthorne, lost in his own world, never intervened. He had become weak under Lady Velvet's influence, and though he sometimes cast a pitying glance at Whiskerella, he did nothing to stop the mistreatment. Despite everything, Whiskerella remained gentle and kind. She sang softly while she worked, and the little birds and mice of the house adored her. She longed for the day when she would be free from her tormentors. One day, news spread across Pawsville. Prince Leo, the most dashing feline in the kingdom, was hosting a grand ball to find a bride. Lady Velvet was determined that one of her daughters would catch his eye. "Oh, what shall we wear?" Clawdia wailed dramatically. "I need more ribbons." "Where is that useless Whiskerella?" screeched Purrl. Whiskerella, exhausted from endless cleaning, peered up from her work. "Could I come too?" she asked hesitantly. Lady Velvet let out a cruel laugh. "You? A filthy little servant? The prince would sooner marry a rat." The stepmother and her daughters spent hours preparing, dressing in outlandish gowns, and layering themselves in perfumes so strong that even the mice in the house fainted. They left for the ball, leaving Whiskerella behind, her heart sinking. But just as she began to weep, a soft, glowing light filled the room. "Meow, dear child," purred a voice. Before her stood a majestic white Persian cat with a sparkling wand. "Who are you?" Whiskerella gasped. "I am your Fairy Catmother," the Persian said with a wink. "And I am here to make sure you go to that ball." With a flick of her wand, Whiskerella's rags transformed into a dazzling gown of silver silk, shimmering like stardust. Her fur was brushed to perfection, and around her neck appeared a delicate crystal collar. "But how will I get there?" Whiskerella asked. The Fairy Catmother tapped her wand again, and a large pumpkin rolled forward, transforming into a grand golden carriage. 4 white mice turned into sleek white horses, and an old tabby cat became the coachman. "Go, my dear," the Fairy Catmother said. "But remember, when the clock strikes midnight, the magic will fade." At the ball, Prince Leo was bored, surrounded by vain and chattering felines. Then, the door swung open, and Whiskerella stepped in. Gasps filled the hall. "Who is she?" Lady Velvet hissed in disbelief. Prince Leo was captivated. He walked straight to Whiskerella and extended a paw. "May I have this dance?" he asked. As they twirled, Purrl and Clawdia watched in horror. "This is unfair," Clawdia whispered. "She must be cheating," Purrl grumbled. But Lady Velvet narrowed her eyes. There was something familiar about this mysterious beauty. Just as Whiskerella felt like she was living a dream, the clock struck midnight. "Oh no," she gasped, pulling away from Prince Leo. She ran, dashing down the palace steps, losing one of her glass slippers in her haste. Before the prince could stop her, she was gone. The next morning, the kingdom buzzed with excitement. Prince Leo had found Whiskerella's slipper and declared he would marry the cat whose paw fit it perfectly. Prince Leo arrived just in time, in the Whiskerella's home, his eyes lighting up when he saw Whiskerella. "You are the one," he whispered, taking her paw in his. That very day, Prince Leo took Whiskerella to the palace, where they were married in a grand celebration. And so, Whiskerella finally found her happiness, proving that kindness, patience, and a pure heart would always triumph over cruelty. And from that day on, she was known as Princess Whiskerella, the kindest cat in all of Pawsville. The end. 0364